Hello, Merry Christmas everyone, and this is a new browser plugin that I've done for the Doomsday Debunked group. The way it works, if you click on Doomsday Debunks, then it'll search, it adds all those terms there, and you can use that to search for the Doomsday Debunked blog, and also search the Doomsday Debunked wiki and a few other things. That one doesn't include Twitter. If you want to search my Twitter feed, then you can go there, and then and then you've got to click. If you select from a job list, you've got to go and then click search. Just a techie thing about how it works, about what I'm able to do with the JavaScript extension. And then this will search everything except the red top tabloids like the Daily Express with their fake news and so on. And this will search top quality astronomy sites, like search for instance for asteroid. Then it'll just show the very top quality, like NASA, ESA, the top quality space astronomy news, online news and so on. Then here, this is again, I choose the very best. This is just Carbon Brief and Mongo-Bay. I could add some more in the future. That'll look, that will look at those. Of course, there isn't much there about asteroid, but if you search for something else, on, again, COP26, then that'll show you Carbon Brief and Mongo-Bay, and they tend to be very accurate and not. I found Mongo-Bay is also a good site for accuracy on climate change. I'll add any more if there are any more accurate ones, and then I added a few Twitter climate scientists who write good things on Twitter. I've got some of the top science, so like the Smithsonian magazine. It's not completely lacking in any clickbait, but it's much better than the New Scientist or Nature, indeed, in that sense. And it's also quite easy to, not very techy either. And to conservation, it's just Mongo-Bay and the IUCN red list. Now here's the, yes, I'll show you this little cookie there, or Easter egg as it were. So if I search there, for instance, for panda, let's search for brown bear, then for some reason you don't get the IUCN entry on brown bear if you just search in Google. So what you've got to do is you've got to hold down the control button and then click on it, and then it'll bring it up. And it brings it up as a new window. And then that's the entry for the brown bear. Then you can go and click on brown bear there and read all about conservation status and what's being done and what it is of least concern. And it's got a stable population. And then for astronomy, let's take for instance 2021 PDC, which is that fictional asteroid, and it's like a not a real asteroid, just like when you have a fire drill, it's not a real fire. And so if you did my Doomsday Debunks, you get my thing about it not being real. If you go and click on astronomy, then you get the about the Planetary Defence Conference exercise naturally, and see the titles make it look very much as if it's a real object. If you click through, you find it isn't. And now if you do Control plus click on that, again the same as with the conservation one, another little Easter egg, then that will bring up my simplified century table and search for that object. I will tell you that it's not found, and if you scroll down to the bottom, then it links to my debug, or one of my debugs. So that's another Easter egg thing. And then, as well as that, there's positive news, so that searches for, well, that would be anything positive news. Let's look for panda or something positive news. And that searches for some of the better positive news sites. And National Zoo has a new panda club, so various things, an albino giant panda and so on. So it'll look for positive news on panda. And then if you click down here, there's another thing, there's spaceflight, there's news. That's some of the better quality news sites. I chose ones deliberately that are also not behind paywalls, and things like AP News, Associated Press News. In fact, let's look and see what the list is. Associated Press News, USA Today, Straits Times, which is the Singapore one, I think, and the Japanese Times. And Al Jazeera, which is good for Middle East things. I can change that list to some, depending on what, but generally ones that tend not to have much by way of clickbaiting, which aren't behind a paywall. And then I've got military, and so for instance, that's quite interesting. If I search, I don't think I have anything. Will I have anything on Panda in the military site? Can be quite surprising. Oh yes, but it's not obviously the animal, the panda. But if you can search for, I searched for COVID there, and that's where I found. That's actually how I found that they're doing a single vaccine that's going to target against all COVID and SARS variants. I found that by doing this search, just testing this. But this is generally very useful for things. So if you like search for instance the Ukraine, then if I search for Ukraine, I've actually included a couple of sites that the Carnegie Endowment and the Military Times and Carnegie Moscow, and it tends to be somewhat less clickbait, and I've got a few specific Ukrainian ones for in there, and I've got the, if you search for Kim Jong-un, say, then it'll bring up this it's got the North Korea news, which tends to be, kind of gets a little bit behind the headlines about what's happening in North Korea. It's not from North Korea. I can't remember, is it South Korean newspaper, but it gives you what's going on in North Korea. So this is all kind of very useful if you're debunking. But some of these might bring up scary headlines. So that's mainly so news and military. That's sort of especially for debunking. That's my blog on robertinventor.com, and it's about spaceflight missions. There's not anything about Kim Jong-un having a spaceflight mission, I wouldn't have thought. But oh yes, North Korea puts satellites in orbit, so you can read all about the techie details about what this tends to spaceflight now and so on. They tend to be more accurate than on the spaceflight details. And then so that's RW is my blog on robertinventor.com, and then finally we've got health. I mean, I suppose that'll be about, this is about the World Health Organization, which talking about the Republic of Korea, and so these are very top quality websites about health, and so that could be used for debugging, including when people are scared and they think you're scared of some disease or something. And it's also just people ask you, say I've got a headache or something, then this takes you to the headache. Sorry, let's type headache. Then it'll give you to like Mayo Clinic and John Hopkins Medicine, Medline Plus, and it has the NHS as well and the CDC, and all their pages about headaches, which are the top quality medical sites. All of those are recommended by doctors and CDC and people like that. They're all recommended by the best sources. So if you do want to go on and search about headache, at least you can go to the best sites about it. And then, of course, if you start worrying you've got some diagnosis or something, then do get a doctor to look at it. Don't use Google to diagnose your illness, but it can be quite useful for, and it's to do with the first stages. You know, should I see a doctor? What are the emergency signs? Go and look on what does the what do the NHS say? What do the US CDC say about, you know, what I should do? And you know, is this something that I need to bother the doctor about? Because people think, oh, I shouldn't bother the doctor, and then it turns out they should have. So that can help with that. So that's basically that. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll add instructions as to how you attach this and how you upload this. It's you have to go and download it from my website. You've got to unpack the zip, because this is just developer mode at the moment. You have to go into developer mode to use it and to test it, but that's quite easy to do. If you go to got different instructions for different browsers. This is the Firefox. If I go to about, I don't think you can actually see the I'm typing this, but I'm typing about called debugging into the top there, and then you go to this Firefox, and then you can load the temporary add-on, and then you go to your folder wherever you saved it, and you just choose any item in there, and that loads it. So it's quite simple really once you've downloaded the zip, and there's similar instructions for all the browsers. And yeah, I suppose I'll just quickly show this other one. So I've also got this thing to block red top tabloids. So for that one, so like say you go to well, if you go to Daily Express or let's go to Express to go to the Express.co.uk, and then it should, if it's operating, there you are, it pops up this saying it's a fake news and false prophecy site. And so I mean, you might go and search and see something skinny. You've got asteroid, maybe you pick up one of these scary asteroid stories from asteroid warning. No. So if you were to go through, yeah, NASA tracks a 4-kilometer asteroid which could end civilization. I mean, that's another one of their ridiculous stories. If you go through there and look at it, then you will get this saying it's fake news. That there's a lot of their stories just not true and totally exaggerated, or they not just make stuff up sometimes. So that'll help you with those sites, and you get things. That's an ad coming up. So it's not. It covers the site. It doesn't stop all this. You might get pop-ups sometimes because it doesn't stop all the pop-ups. Stop it from adding extra pop-up code after the thing is after the page has gone there. I've also blocked. So if you search for Mr. Scientific, say, and you won't be able to see what I'm. Oh, yes, you can. You can search for Mr. Scientific, and he's one of the YouTube channels who scares lots of people with false Mr. Scientific asteroids, say, and there's going to be don't be alarmed by whatever he says, because he does the most ridiculous things. Like for instance that largest ever comet head hurtling towards us, and if you go there, then hopefully there you are, it blocks it. So it'll block any of the videos, but it sadly doesn't block the sound. It doesn't always. So you might just have to close the sound. But so this is work in progress. I may be able to fix some of these things. Take another thing, David Mead. You search for David Mead, and we go to Amazon. Oh, I should block the, and then if I go to David Mead's books on Amazon, then it's the same thing. That it'll just pop up this. So we should, there we are, get to say that he's got Amazon books, False Prophecy, David Mead. So I can, that is work in progress, so I can gradually add more things to it and expand on it. But it's still, it could be quite useful already. So remember, that's a separate plugin, so you don't get them both at once, because many people might want to just customize their search and not want to block all these sites. But for those of you who get scared by false prophecies, then this is a separate plugin you can download, and we'll include instructions for that as well. And it's the same thing. You go to this page, where's this? Go to the page, and you'd browse for it, and just like I did for that one, browse for whatever you downloaded, and then it'll be there, and it's up there in the, that's the Doomsday Debunked search, and there's another one up here somewhere. That's blocking red top tabloids. Oh, I don't think you saw that. I was hovering above the top. Anyway, so that's it. Hopefully some of those will be useful for some of you. And if you've got if anything doesn't work, or anything you think needs to be changed or whatever, any suggestions, then do let me know. It's work in progress, and maybe sometime I'll put them up on the App Store. But there's an awful lot I can do if there's enough interest. For instance, I could customize all the buttons. I'm sure there'll be a way of doing that. So you can set whatever text you like on the button, and you can set whatever string you want to add at the end of it. And you could customize the drop list, and so it would be possible to do things like that. And then same for these blocked sites, to let the URL have a preset list of sites that are blocked, and then you can add to it and subtract from it. So I haven't bothered to do any of that. I've just hard coded all that stuff in. But if there's enough interest, then I can put in extra features like that so that you can customize it. The coding wasn't that difficult. It only took me, it took me a few hours, so not no time at all. But I went on a very false trail to start with, because I downloaded a horrendously complex thing that Google had made, and which I hope we'll be able to customize to be able to do this. They just turned out to be a nightmare. So I then thought, oh, these things are so horribly complex. But then I found that there were some examples of them that are really pretty dead easy for someone who's used to writing in JavaScript. And I was on a bit of JavaScript, and I just took some of those examples and I modified them a bit, and there we are. That's it. So hopefully that'll help.